If you want something, pay for it. A general tax increase, such as my opponent is favoring, or at least is flirting with, a gas tax, is shifted out of here.
Mr. Bell, 1 minute.
I didn't say I was in favor of gas tax. Let me just say that. I'm in favor of cutting our budget and making sure we work as efficiently as possible. Beyond that, I'm in favor of practical design, which I believe will save money. Beyond that, I'm in favor of a comprehensive transportation plan that will fix our transportation problems. Again, I'm not going to be an elected official who's going to point fingers after we have a bridge collapse and people die. I'm going to be someone who's going to do what I have to do. And I'll put every option on the table I have to do to fix this problem. As far as the gas tax goes, frankly, I think it's an option we have to consider. I'll consider every single one. We haven't raised our gas tax in 24 years. The surrounding states have all raised their gas tax in that period of time. And yet today I checked gas prices at all these states, and I find that they're about the same price as ours. Every time a surrounding state raises the price of their gas, what happens? When they have a higher gas tax, our distributors raise the wholesale price in Virginia, and they pocket the difference. That's money that could be going on the roads. What I'm telling you, I'm not running because I want to be something. I'm running because I want to do something and fix transportation.
Mr.
All right. In a brochure that we received today, my opponent says that he is running for delegate because of deficits are threatening our children's future. In a memo from Kurt Vogt John, actually from his campaign manager, I'm criticized for reaffirming my objection to federal stimulus money coming into Virginia. I don't see how you can have this both ways. To say that you're concerned about deficits, but then to criticize me for opposing taking these monies, which come from overseas. Now, the largest buyer of these bills is China. The second is Japan. The third largest is the Caribbean. Now, you know there's no real money coming from there. That's a conduit from some other place. The fourth is the Middle East. I don't see how you can have this both ways. If you can do this, then please explain it to me. You also said you were against homeowners. You want tax cuts for homeowners, middle-class families, and businesses that create jobs. I don't see how you can do this to expand the governor's fund and pull back on the spending. Somehow,
sir, your time is up. Mr. Bell, you have 3 minutes to respond.
There was a lot in that. I'm not exactly sure what the question was. I think it was about deficits. As I said, I'm a financial professional, and that's what I did in my military career. And I am against deficits, but you know what? If you believe in the economic theories of John Maynard Keynes, again, the theories that saved our country and pulled us out of the Great Depression, then you have to realize that there's such a thing as a business. Periods of time where you have a balanced budget, you have surplus periods, and you have deficit periods. And when you're in a terrible recession like we are right now, then you have to have a surplus in spending in order to do that. If you recall, the $700 billion bailout happened when George W. Bush was in office, and there's virtually no strings attached to that. I think some people have a short memory today. Now, having said that, I'm running for office here in Virginia. And what I'd like to do is have policies that will grow our economy. I think the best way to pay for things that we need to do is to have more people paying taxes. Grow our tax base, not our tax rate. There's two areas I think that we can become a leader in: alternative renewable energy and also automating medical records. These are huge growth areas, and we're at the very infancy. I'd like to have our state universities have degree plans in each one of these fields, because I believe right now if we have a cadre of people who have not just 1 or 2 classes, but degrees in alternative renewable energy, we'll have a chance to be a leader in this field. We need research laboratories. Right now, if people want to do research in this area, they have to leave the Commonwealth. We need them right here in Prince William County. If we have that, not only will we grow jobs, but we'll grow jobs closer to where people live. And I think that's something that can make a positive difference in people's lives every single day. And those are the kind of issues that I'll spend my time on. If we have a great economy, if we grow our tax base, not only will we have a more prosperous Commonwealth, but we won't have deficits. We'll have money to pay for our priorities.
You can stay at the mic, sir. You have 1 minute now to pose a question to Delegate Marshall.
In a recent Washington Post article, Amy Gardner quoted you as saying Bob McDonnell needs to strike a balance. So I ask you today, where's the balance in introducing over 80 bills restricting the right to choose? And no mention of transportation solutions. Do you think you struck a balance for Prince William and Loudoun counties with your focus on social issues, more than 100 social issue bills that you sponsored during your time in Richmond?
3 minutes, Delegate Marshall, to respond.
Maybe the gentleman doesn't understand this distinction between introducing a bill and co-patroning a bill. I did a count the other day. It was 6.4% of all the bills that I dealt with the question of the right to life. Who dealt with the question of right to life? This fellow named Thomas Jefferson. First right that he talked about independence was life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Jefferson criticized abortion in his notes on Virginia. He complimented Sir Edward Livingston, a political enemy of his, who said we should move back the law on criminal abortions from quickening back to conception. This was 1820. Now, in 1847, Virginia passed its statute banning abortion from conception. Okay? Both free and slave child were protected under law. Okay? Before they were born. That was equal justice under law. At what point does my opponent want to guarantee any rights for human beings? Maybe not even until birth. He doesn't say the answer to that because he's been endorsed by the most radical abortion group in the United States, the National Abortion Rights Action League, which didn't even want pregnancy health centers to get $10 per license plate to help a pregnant woman. Now, folks, that has gone far out. Okay, yes, I've introduced those bills, and I think the balance is there to protect life, to protect property. I was the first person to introduce a bill in the House of Delegates to anticipate the Kelo decision. I've been consistent. Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. I will not back away from it.
Time now for time now for closing statements. Each candidate will have 3 minutes.
Introduced by Delegate Paul Nichols. The fiscal implications. This bill could create significant fiscal impact on state resources. The adverse selection creates a scenario under which poorer risks are attracted to the state plan, which will increase the risk of the state plan as a whole, thereby increasing premiums. The end result, this is not efficiency, would be higher premiums for general fund employees, non-general fund employees, state employees, and retired state employees not eligible yet for Medicare. There's another effect of my opponent's bill. Another potential impact is it may threaten the loss of state revenue, state employee health insurance plans exemption from the requirements of the Employer Retirement Income Security Act of 1974. We are dealing with the federal government because the health care plan by Henry Waxman wants the state to participate in this, to identify your income, to turn it over to them, and other prying things about your private life, including putting all your health care data on a computer. This year we had a break-in the state computer dealing with prescription narcotics. Everybody who takes OxyContin is now identified by this break-in. Your house can be robbed by that. Now, going on here, the state police are concerned enough about this that they were before us at a hearing about this very point. Not my idea. The loss of the Commonwealth's illicit exemption under his bill for the state employee health insurance program will result in additional reporting requirements and potential liabilities that are not currently factored into the cost of the existing programs. Governor Tim Kaine asked me to introduce his bill dealing with growth control. Didn't ask anybody else. Didn't ask a liberal Democrat, a moderate Republican. Asked Bob Marshall, conservative Republican. Why? Because I know what I'm talking about when I deal with this right here. I stood side by side. This is the Washington Post, 2/12/06. Delegate Bob Marshall and Kaine stood side by side before a rally of slow growth advocates in Richmond the other day. Marshall felt compelled to note, on this issue we're united. Forcing developers to pay for the impact of their projects is not a Republican or Democratic idea, but it is an economic justice issue. Folks, this year I was threatened with being kicked out of the Republican caucus because I decided to support Prince William and Loudon families first who had autistic children. I found out when we had this hearing that nobody decided to make a motion to either pass the bill or kill a bill. That was the way around not getting recorded votes. I stood up and I said, their silence is morally unacceptable. I'm going to do something. I discharged the committee. Okay, now people are starting to pay attention because I know the rules and I don't mind playing hardball on them against Democrats, Republicans. You know what? It is said that I stand alone, and sometimes I do in Richmond. But you know what? You are by my side because I take my oath of office seriously to you. Thank you.
We'll come back and have the candidates in the District 50 race debate. 3 minutes.